right, so now we're going to figure out another toolbox. Another tool that we need is kind of where to start guessing and checking with real numbers. That's going to come from the rational zero test. Y'all, please remember, the word rational in math is just a fancy word for fraction. So we're just going to find some possibilities based on a fraction that we're going to create. And the fraction never changes. It is always P over Q, P over Q, P over Q. And we're always going to use the plus minus sign. What you need to remember, we're calling P the constant term. So the number at the end of the polynomial, this thing right here, is always going to be on top of the fraction bar, the factors of it. Down underneath is going to be the factors for the leading coefficient. Now remember, the leading coefficient is the number in front, the very front number. So we're taking all of the factors of the last number and dividing it by all the numbers of the front number. So remember, it is just going to be the constant factors. We're talking about factors, dividing by the leading, look, I'm going to spell the word coefficient. I'm going to spell this weird. I'm going to spell this wrong. The leading coefficient. And the reason why I spell that so silly is because I always remember the front number goes underneath, because coefficient and quotient, that starts with the letter Q. That's just how I remember to do this. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. Please remember, we're talking about factors. Let's look at example, this one. So for this is my constant term. This is going to be on top. This is my leading coefficient. This is going to be on bottom. Now remember, this is understood to be a 1 when it's not written. So let's go ahead and write P as a 3. So we're going to write plus or negative 3 there. What numbers all multiply together to make 3? Also 1. Remember, 3 is prime, so just 3 times 1. Those are the factors that make the constant term. Now let's talk about Q, the front term. What are all the factors that could make 1? Y'all, it's just plus and minus 1. So the possible zeros, I'm going to list all this out and then I'm going to start showing you a shortcut. It is going to be positive 3, negative 3, positive 1, negative 1, divided by positive 1, negative 1. What about these? Positive 1, negative 1. So the possible real zeros are going to be 3. What's negative 3 divided by negative 3? Still a negative 3, still a 3. 1 divided by 1, and a negative 1 divided by a negative 1. So our possibilities, our whole possibilities are 3 and 1. But remember, we always include the positive and the negative. These are the only possible answers that you can plug into this to get 0. The only possible answers that are going to exist to get 0. Let's look at the bottom here. All right, so remember, it is the leading coefficient on the bottom. That's a 3. What are all the numbers that make a 3? A 1 and a 3. What are all the numbers that make a 1? A 1. So let's look at what we're dividing here. You can think of this as 2 separate things. We're going to have 1 divided by 1, which is 1. Then we're going to have 1 divided by 3, which is 1/3. So what are all the possible zeros? 1 divided by 1 is 1. 1 divided by 3 is 1/3. But you always include all the positive and all the negative values for that. This is the rational zero test.